High school wasn't exactly the highlight of my life, but it was where I first learned how dangerous obsession can really be. It started when I was 16. I was a pretty average junior kept to myself, had a small group of friends, and had just started dating a girl from my chemistry class named Mia. Everything was going well, at least until she entered the picture. Her name was Ellie. We had a class or two together, but we'd only ever had one real conversation. It was at lunch, and we ended up sitting near each other by chance. I was polite, just basic questions. What music she liked, what classes she had, that kind of thing. She gave short, awkward answers, but I didn't think much of it. I figured she was just shy. But after that lunch, things got strange. I started noticing her more often, too often. She began showing up near my locker every morning, just standing there, not saying anything. She would follow me down the hallways at a weird distance. Sometimes she'd be waiting outside my classes, acting like she just happened to be passing by. She never actually talked to me again. Not really. She just stared, smiled, watched. One day, Mia asked if I knew her. I said no, not really. Just that one conversation. That's when Mia told me Ellie had been telling people we were dating. I laughed it off at first, figuring it was just a misunderstanding. But the rumor spread. Friends asked me why I was cheating on Mia. A couple guys from the soccer team even joked about my double life. It got old real fast. So I confronted her. It was awkward as hell. I waited by her locker and asked her flat out why she was telling people we were together. She didn't deny it. She just smiled and said, "Well, we are." I remember going cold. "Number we're not," I said, loud enough for others nearby to hear. She stared at me for a moment, then walked away like nothing happened. I should have reported it, should have told a teacher or someone, but I didn't. I just wanted it to go away. It didn't. About 2 weeks later, Ellie approached me in the hallway with this strange look in her eyes. She held out a plain white envelope. "Don't open it until you get home," she whispered. I was about to walk past her, but something about the way she said it froze me. I took the envelope. Of course, I didn't wait. I opened it as soon as she walked away. Inside were several folded pages. I'll never forget what I saw. The first page was a letter. A love letter, if you could even call it that. The writing was chaotic, scratched hard into the paper, like every word had been carved rather than written. She wrote about fate, about the signs, about how I was her soulmate, how she had dreams of me, how she saw messages in things I wore or said in class. The next page was disturbing. It was a sheet of graph paper. Every single square front and back was filled with my name, written in tiny, perfect letters. Hundreds, maybe thousands of times. It must have taken hours. The next was a drawing. It was me and her. We were kissing in the hallway, arms wrapped around each other. Behind us was Mia, crying, her face twisted in heartbreak as she watched us. The drawing was detailed, too detailed. She'd even gotten the mole under Mia's left eye right. There was more. A list of every class I took, my schedule, even notes about when I left campus for lunch or what I wore on specific days. Pages and pages of handwritten obsession. I remember just sitting there, frozen in disbelief. Something about that envelope made my skin crawl in a way I still can't explain. It felt infected, like touching it made me part of whatever sick fantasy she had in her head. That night, I told Mia everything. She was freaked out, obviously. She wanted me to go to the school counselor, but again I didn't. I was stupid. I thought maybe if I just told Ellie to back off, it would end. So I found her the next day and I told her firmly, coldly, that I didn't want anything to do with her. I told her to stay away from me and from Mia. I told her to stop following me, stop talking about me, stop everything. She didn't say a word, not even a nod. She just stared at me with those wide, unblinking eyes, that same creepy smile on her face. Then she turned and walked away. For a while, it stopped, or at least I thought it did. But then things started going missing. A hoodie from my locker, a pair of gym shoes, even a textbook once. I found a pencil case in my backpack once that wasn't mine. It had hearts drawn all over it and the words E plus me forever. Scrawled inside was a picture of a wedding ring with my name engraved on it. I started checking over my shoulder constantly. Changed my locker combo, slept with my phone clutched in my hand. Every night, I checked the locks on the windows twice. Graduation came, and I didn't see Ellie again. She didn't show up to the ceremony. I figured she moved away or dropped out. Years passed. I went to college, moved to a different city, tried to forget about it. But 2 months ago, I got a friend request on an old social media account I hadn't used in years. The profile had no photo, just a name I didn't recognize. I clicked it. The profile was empty except for one post, made the same day the request was sent. It was a photo of the envelope, that envelope, the same creepy handwriting, the same graph paper, and underneath it, a caption, "Do you still think about me?" I didn't sleep that night. Haven't really slept well since, because I don't know what's worse, that she still remembers me, or that she might be closer than I think. When I was 19, I learned that horror movies weren't as far from real life as I'd thought. It started with a prank, or what I thought was a prank. I worked part-time at a small bookstore just off campus. One evening in October, as I was locking up for the night, I noticed someone standing across the street. Just standing there. It was a clown. Full makeup, puffy wig, ruffled red and yellow suit. He was holding a balloon. I laughed at first, thought it was some bored college kid trying to scare people. Halloween was coming up after all. I flipped him off jokingly and walked to my car. But then, the next day, he was there again. Same spot, same outfit, just watching. It became a pattern. At first, it was maybe once or twice a week, then almost every day. I'd leave work or class or even the grocery store, and I'd spot him nearby. Never too close, but always close enough to see that balloon. I stopped laughing after the second week. I started switching up my schedule, took different routes, stopped sharing location tags on social media. But no matter what I did, he always seemed to know. One night, I was out with friends, grabbing late-night burgers. I hadn't told anyone where we were going, just a last-minute thing after a study session. We were eating outside, and I was finally starting to feel relaxed, until I saw him across the street, just standing, again. Only this time, the balloon was gone. He wasn't holding anything, just his hands, hanging at his sides. My stomach dropped. I stood up fast, ready to confront him, or maybe just run. My friends looked confused, but when I pointed him out, he was already gone, like he'd never been there. I started getting paranoid. I stopped going out at night. I started carrying pepper spray. I even told campus security, but all they said was, "It's probably some frat thing." No one took it seriously. The worst part was that I felt alone. But one person did believe me, my friend Liz. We'd been close since freshman year. She listened, gave advice, and even started walking me to class. She was the only one I trusted, or at least, I thought she was. After about a month of this clown crap, I decided I had to catch him, or at least prove he was real. So I staged a setup. I told Liz I was going to the library at 8 p.m., same as always. But really, I stayed at home, lights off, phone in hand, watching the street from my second-floor window. Sure enough, at 8:10, I saw him. Clown suit, makeup, just standing there in front of the library, waiting. I watched for 10 minutes as he paced, turned around, then finally walked off into the shadows. That's when it hit me like a freight train. How did he know where I was going to be? I hadn't posted. I hadn't told anyone except Liz. The next day, I tested my theory. I told Liz I had an early class on the north side of campus and mentioned I'd be grabbing coffee there around 9. I didn't go. Instead, I sat in my car nearby with my phone camera ready, and there he was, 9:07 a.m., standing outside the cafe, waiting. I swear my blood turned to ice. I confronted Liz that afternoon. She denied everything at first, acted confused, even hurt. But when I pressed, she cracked, said she didn't think it was a big deal, claimed the guy was just a friend who had a crush and wanted to know more about me. I wanted to scream, "He's been stalking me, Liz, in a clown suit. You knew what he was doing." She started crying, but I didn't care. I blocked her, reported her to campus safety, cut her out of my life completely. And just like that, the clown stopped showing up. For a while. Weeks passed. I started to breathe again, go out again. Life returned to something close to normal. Until the night I found the balloon. It was tied to the mirror of my car. No note, no person nearby, just a bright red balloon gently swaying in the wind. I felt sick. I checked every camera in the parking lot, but none of them had a clear angle. It was like he knew exactly where to stand to stay hidden. After that, I moved. I changed my number, deleted old social accounts, told almost no one where I was going. And for a long time, it worked, until last week. I was scrolling through an old photo album on my phone. One of those automatic memory things popped up. 4 years ago today, it was a group picture. Me, Liz, a few friends at a Halloween party. But something I hadn't noticed before caught my eye. In the background, through a window behind us, a figure, barely visible in the dark. A clown, just watching us. I dropped the phone. Because it wasn't just the suit or the makeup that scared me. It was that I recognized the eyes now. I'd only seen them once when the balloon was tied to my car and I caught a glimpse of someone across the lot. No makeup, no costume, just a man, smiling. I don't know his name. I don't know where he is now. But sometimes when I'm walking alone, I think I hear the squeak of balloon rubber behind me. And I keep looking over my shoulder, because some horror movies never end.